Welcome everyone to the first ever Lander Rotary cooking show featuring Helen Higby. Hey, take it away, Helen.
I hope you noticed that I did wash my hands and I did wash the counter. In fact, I put so much soap on the counter, it took me about 4 times to rinse it. Okay, let's grease the pie plate. And that's a real tough one. But I want to show you something fun. I really do have a pie plate. Maybe people won't get that. Anyway. Okay. I'm glad somebody thought it was cute. Cup and a half of flour.
This is better than Rachel Ray.
Thanks, I think.
How many cups of flour?
1 1/2.
1 1/2.
And then just some set aside. Because we'll use it after a bit. All right. Into the sifter. And some cream of tartar, and I'm sorry I can't tell you how much. About that much.
That's how my mom used to cook.
How exactly does one cream a tartar? That's what I want to know.
Same with the salt.
Just a pinch of salt.
No, more than a pinch. I don't know, 1/4 of a teaspoon.
The hard part in creaming a tartar is actually milking it first.
But once you do milk it, the cream will rise, right?
This is good.
From the barrel of, I think it's wine that is aging. Okay, now.
White wine, though, obviously, because it was white cream of tartar.
Right.
Maybe
We
so.
could ask Shauna about this because I think she'd be our local expert. Shauna.
So, one of the things that I have learned is that you want to keep everything cold, as cold as you can. So Mandy asked me to have everything ready, but I'm going to the fridge to get the shortening.
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
Yeah, Jerry, you're unmuted, just so you know.
Excuse me.
I'm going to show you
I think
something
it's time
that
to mute.
my mother taught me. Oops, I didn't get a spoon.
Helen, what's your shortening of brand of choice?
Crisco. But some people who are really experienced and old time cooks swear by lard. I can't stand the thought of using lard.
Absolutely.
Whatever. Okay. A trick my mother taught me is if you want a 1/2 cup of shortening, you put in a cup of water and then shortening until the water level rises to 1/2. And that is Archimedes' law of displacement.
Well played, Mom. That's way better than the shortening trick that my mother taught me, which is like pushing it in with a knife until all the bubbles come out. Although mine made better sounds.
There's enough sounds in my house. Okay, and you want to keep the water content as low as you can. Oops, I didn't do what I wanted to do.
I think we're gonna have to start calling her Helen the Science Gal.
Can you show us that once you've done it, Helen, so we can see it in the camera?
I beg your pardon?
Can you show us your displacement with the shortening? Put that up in the camera. Come on.
All right, just a minute.
Oh, because you didn't nail it.
I didn't. Okay. put in a cup of water, put in shortening until, I don't know, where's the camera? Till it came up to a half.
Perfect. Nailed it. That's awesome.
But I don't want any more shortening. So pay attention.
Here, move yourself a little bit this way so
Oh,
I can see
okay.
all of you.
All right. The other thing, all right, the shortening.
You're
can
done
go
with
away.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Here, I'll put that in the fridge. I'll be your
Well, I
assistant.
need to get some ice cubes.
Yeah. Let her get some ice cubes, Mandy.
So did the
Who's
shortening,
bringing the bourbon?
Yeah. Here's the Manhattan.
Oh, I've got it right here.
do we take the shortening out of the water, or does the water go in too, Helen?
You take the shortening out of the water.
Right.
And we're gonna want some ice water here in a minute, so that's what I'm doing.
Hey, Helen, can I go backwards? Why don't you use, what's the pros and cons of shortening over butter? With apologies to our panda friend.
I have no idea.
Okay. That's how you
By
do
the
it.
way, if anybody really wants to know what cream of tartar is, Julia Stubel has put a nice explanation of it in chat.
Thank you to Wikipedia, which I think is fundraising right now. Shameless effort.
Hey, I know about, lard has a bit of a flavor. It has a little bit of a, lardy flavor to it. It does make things very flaky, but it has a lardy flavor.
Okay. All right. I'm not a big one for kitchen gadgets, but this one I really feel crippled without. I think it's called a pastry blade. And some people can use 2 knives, but I'm not that coordinated. So I'm cutting the shortening into the flour.
Well, and I have to say, my Aunt Colleen used one of those and showed me how to use it on the very first pie shell I made from scratch. I didn't make any more after that. It's a lot of work, but it's so yummy. Kudos to you.
I have one that I don't use. So if someone wants to borrow it, just let me know. I'll bring it to you.
I'm with Helen. I think they're indispensable.
I use them to make cookies.
You don't
to cream the butter and sugar, so I don't have to use a noisy electric blender.
Oh yeah, I like straight food processor with the hand mixing. You guys are fancy.
I didn't know they
just
made
press the
kitchens
yes
without-
button, the on button.
I didn't know they made kitchens without pastry blenders.
You're doing great. That's awesome.
Okay, now, the more water you put in, the easier it is to work the dough. The less water you put in, the flakier the crust is. So you have to decide what your frustration level is. Okay, so I'm putting in a tablespoon of water at a time and then mixing it up. I mean, how complicated is that? Not very. And this isn't hard, and it's not, doesn't take that long. Of course, I'll admit that I'm practiced. And the recipe calls for 5 to 7 tablespoons of water, ice water. And I'm going to try real hard to get by with 5. No, I'm not, because I don't want you to see how clumsy I am.
Hey, Helen, what is your pie plate made out of? What material? Is it ceramic?
Oh, darn, it's made in China. Nuts. No, but several that I have are glass.
Uh-huh.
And I think that one must be ceramic. I've used it a number of times, so I know it works.
Helen, did you say 5 to 7 tablespoons or teaspoons?
Tablespoons.
Tablespoons.
TB beta. All right, I'm gonna try it. And I'm gonna cool my hands off. Larry had an aunt who thought she knew everything that was worth knowing. I hope that was nasty, wasn't it? Aunt Eunice knew a lot. And sometimes she'd share it. And one of the things she told me was, she told me about keeping things cold. And she said, often I'll melt an ice cube in my hands if my hands are warm. Thanks, Aunt Eunice. Rest in peace. Okay, this is why I kept some of the flour out.
Helen, can you show us the consistency of your dough there?
Yeah.
So it's a little crumbly still, huh?
Yeah, and that has me a little worried because it may not be as easy to work when I'm trying to show off.
How's yours looking, Stacy? Give us a preview.
I'm having trouble keeping up with the master. I've got a lot of crumble going on.
Is somebody?
Yes, Stacy's making it alongside you.
Oh, well, Stacy. I'm glad somebody is taking this sort of seriously.
That means more ice water, right, Helen? If it's still crumbly.
I could do that, but I'm gonna deal with the frustration and hope I come out with a flakier crust.
I really thought Dell would be doing this alongside you.
Who?
Dell.
Oh,
he's sitting there.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then I've tried to show people this before. And one of the things that's just intuitive for me, but wasn't for that person, you need to keep in mind that you're trying to roll a circle. You're not trying to do a rectangle. And that person was just so enthusiastic and assertive about doing this that she ended up with a rectangle that didn't work.
Right, because everybody knows that a mathematical pi has everything to do with a circle.
You got that right.
Hey, Helen, I'm taking this very seriously because I'm going to make the apple pie for Christmas. So
who's talking?
This is Bill Almas. I'm going to make the crust and the filling too. But so I'm watching carefully.
All right.
We need to make
a whole parentheses here.
Did you hear me?
Somebody who knows I make pies gave me this thing that I call a stencil. And if you put that on the top crust and poke all these things out, you get all these little apples. But then when you try to transfer the thing to the top of the pie, it has no structural integrity. So it's really frustrating. And if Mike Jones is there, he'll tell you what I tried to make him an apple pie. That's what he asked for. But it was a disaster because I shouldn't have tried to use the stencil because I know better. All right, in a way, this is good because my pride is giving me fits. So what I'm going to do is just a little bit of water.
No, I recognize the side.
What you're doing with the knife?
So I'm scraping up some flour to put on top of the water.
She is applying a pastry Band-Aid.
Yep. I have no idea how any professional chef would view that. But maybe showing you how to deal with a mistake isn't so bad an idea.
Hey, if it works.
Yeah, it sort of worked. We're gonna do some more.
Helen, we love you, just so you know that.
You better. I mean, I am pretty embarrassed.
Pretty lovable.
Humble, yeah.
I didn't say humble. I did not call you humble. I called you lovable.
Oh, okay. Well, I told my sisters I was gonna do this, and boy, they're younger, and I think they try to get back at me for any problems I gave them when we were growing up, because they said, oh, what kind of apron are you gonna wear? One of those little French maid kind of aprons? No.
Helen, I have to say, as the youngest of 3 girls, that's 100% what they're trying to do.
That was me until.
All right, here we go. The proof is in the pudding. This is why I said a long, slender, not fat spatula. Is that what you guys call this, a spatula?
I think that's a spatula.
Okay, I don't know what you call it.
Kitchen thing.
Flat kitchen thing.
All right, and you really and truly want this loose.
Does that look like it's working?
If you're going to express any doubt in Helen, turn your mute button on.
You are invisible.
I want to be.
Here we go. Well, that wasn't too bad.
So did you fold it in half?
I did. And this is where the mistakes come home to kick you in the butt. See? But if you grease the pan enough, you can slide it around.
And the more brittle that thing is, the more crumbly your crust is, right?
Right. So this crust ought to be really good, because since I'm in public, I can't swear.
I'm sorry, flaky your crust will be. You want a
Stacy,
flaky
hold that
crust.
up. That looks beautiful.
It's brilliant.
Stacy, good work.
Stacy's? Oh yeah.
Oh, Stacy, I can't see you. You got to say something. I have you on.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
It's a little choppy, but
It's falling apart. there.
I was
That's
getting
brilliant.
I was getting a little too proud. It started flopping over there.
Helen, did I hear you say you grease your pan?
Oh gosh, yes. And don't be frugal.
With what? What do you with?
Use some spray on, Sarah.
Okay.
Lord.
You don't have to act like you've got stock in the company. But don't be stingy with it either.
Actually, it turned out pretty well. I would
There.
think.
This is what I used. You see that?
Yeah. Stacy, that might be done by 2:30, huh?
I cut it.
Just remember your neighbors, Stacy.
That's right.
Yeah, but Gracie's coming over for piano today.
Trimmed it 1/4 or 1/2 inch all the way around. Now I'm tucking it under. And this is, so you have a little bit of height for your filling.
How do you put a?
And there are all kinds of ways you can decorate
Do
this.
this. You make another.
Fork, or what I just do is between my thumb, between my other hand left, what do you call it? Thumb and index finger. Is that?
Do that when you can get these perfect crusts already at the grocery store in the freezer section.
Don't say anything though, because it makes us.
Oh, I didn't think they could hear.
Bill, you're not muted.
I'm getting close to swearing on that one. So Stacy, how's yours coming out?
Well, it's not pretty. I'm trying to do that technique you're using and not getting so far, but I think I got the basics.
Well, put a little more water in it.
And Helen, you fold the extra crust under instead of over before you pinch it?
Yeah.
Ah, that's a strategy I've not tried. I like it.
Oh, well, whatever works. Okay, now since this is a single crust, and since I am auctioning off a cream pie, oh, and I need to tell you, that can be vanilla or butterscotch. Bill Sniffen, you can vouch for my butterscotch, coconut or banana. I only have to bake it for 15 minutes. And I've seen in some cooking magazines, you can get a little fine chain to wrap around to keep it from swelling and making bubbles that then crack. But this also works. You just poke holes in it with a fork all the way around. And I don't think I need to demonstrate that. Okay.
She makes the best butterscotch pie in the world.
Larry's didn't like cake for his birthday. His mouth was dry or something. So he wanted a pie. So, and he really liked butterscotch. So for the better part of 30 years, I made him a butterscotch pie for his birthday. And it turns out Bill Sniffen's birthday is the same as my Larry's was. So for the first few years after Larry died, I was in the habit of making a butterscotch pie for that day, so I made them for Bill. But he hasn't been around the last couple of years for his birthday.
That's about the sweetest gesture I can imagine, Helen. That's amazing.
Well, I was very much in love.
Hey, Helen, we got a question from Jackie Nelson. She wants to know how much flour for a double crust.
Oh, 2 cups.
Show them your cookbook too, Helen.
Yeah, this is an antique, believe me. Yeah, and it's been used.
I have that same cookbook, and we just gave one to Mackenzie when she moved away. That's the best cookbook ever.
2 cups of flour and 2/3 of a cup of shortening. And I am going to use the leftover to make a little tart. And I really don't care how that comes out. Except it's harder to clean the little bowl if you don't.
That's a great idea. We always used to just bake them up as little cookies, but I love the tart idea.
Well, you got some jelly, why just throw that in? Okay, I'm gonna bake this for, I think, 15 minutes. 10 or 12. And
Adjusted for elevation.
well, yeah, I usually do a little bit more, but it's supposed to be
Talk to the camera, Helen.
at 450 degrees, which is really hot. And depending on how well you know your oven, you better start the oven sooner than this.
Will you talk about it if it's not a cream pie, like if it's an apple pie or cherry pie?
Oh,
How
God.
you do it different?
You do the bottom the same way. You make your filling, you do the top essentially the same way, and then you bite your tongue while you try to put the top on the filling. Because I have a really hard time doing that, which is why I'm willing to make a cream pie, because it's done. Oh, one thing about a cream pie.
So my mom always rolled the top dough around the rolling pin and used the rolling pin to transfer it over. Have you ever done that way?
works for you. If you do a cream pie, you want meringue. And something I read somewhere, and it does work. If you start out with a cold egg, the yolk and the white separate more easily. But the white whips up better if it's at room temperature. So I should have done this 20 minutes ago or more. Anyhow, those are the little hints that I know. Keep everything as cold as you can. Cream of tartar. Eggs separate better when they're cold, and the whites beat up better when they're warm or room temperature. No, not warm. Don't heat them up. So that's it, folks.
Yay, Helen!
And Mandy, you owe me. Oh no, we got to have the auction. What kind of cream pie do you want, and how much are you willing to?
So we've got people coming in. $40, $50.
Just hit $50.
All right. Chime in on the chat if you want to be the recipient of the first ever Rotary Meeting cooked cream pie. Okay, John Brown is the winner of the chocolate pie.
You want?
Or it doesn't have to be chocolate, whatever your wife wants.
What's your choice?
So my wife is a chocolate lover, and so make a chocolate one.
Okay.
Well played, John. Well played.
Okay, John, I think we're done over here from the live